Hello, I'm Dr. Harper. This video is a syllabus video in BANA 6630 Section 001, Management of Operations, Spring 2022. So let's bring up the syllabus. So in the syllabus, first the course is active from Tuesday, January 18th to Saturday, May 14th, 2022. And what that means is that everything starts on January 18th, ends on May 14th, nothing before, nothing afterward. Okay, I start with a schedule outline. And in the schedule outline, you see here I start with a syllabus and introduction. Well, the week begins Monday, and then our class sessions will be on Tuesday in class. I start with a syllabus and introduction. Then I have 2 weeks for forecasting, 2 weeks for linear programming or optimization, 2 weeks for aggregate planning, and 2 weeks for inventory. The reason I have 2 weeks is the first week is just the introduction, lecture, basically presentation of the material. And the second week I go into the application, how to work problems, how to do the quiz and the homework. And notice for each topic, topic 1, 2, 3, and 4, I have a quiz and I have a homework and then I have a memo. Now the quiz is designed just for the mechanics. Definitions of terms, how to work the problems, what the equations mean, just the mechanics. Now the homework is the application, working different problems in industry, in business and operations, how to define the problem, how to work it, how to get the answers. And then the memo is communication, taking a work problem and actually communicate it within a business environment. And notice I do that for topics 1, 2, 3, and 4, because I have quiz, homework, memo for topic 1, topic 2, topic 3, and then topic 4. Now, topics 5, 6, 7, and 8, on the other hand, I just have quizzes. Now these quizzes are a combination of just the definitions of mechanics, and I have applications in there as well, because all I have is the quiz. And this is more of an introduction to those topics. MRP is scheduling and multiple inventory. ABC inventory classification is very practical and with multiple inventory. This inventory up here is single inventory item and concepts. This is multiple inventory items where I begin putting things together. And then scheduling, day-to-day operations, and then quality control and statistical process control charts. So then I just have quizzes for those. And so notice that at the end of the lectures when I have the quiz, end of the lectures when I have the quiz, the homework is the week after and the memo is the week after that. But since they're quizzes, they're during that week. Okay, and I do have videos on most of these things, videos on how to work the problem. Now, what I mean by working the problem, I don't work the problems in the quiz, homework, and memo, but I will work the problem in a previous course, but it's the same problem, just different numbers. So the process is the same, the numbers may be different. So that helps people go back and forth to see actually how to work it. In other words, I try to give as much help as possible. And then we have exam and review and a project instructions here on the next April 26th actually, because this is on a Tuesday. And then we have exam in class on Tuesday, which will be May 3rd. This is Monday, May 3rd. And then the project presentation is the very last class period we have. Now, as you'll see in the details of the syllabus, the exam is in class. But my experience is a lot of times people can't take the exam. They're sick or they're on travel. A lot of things can happen. So after Tuesday, I will open up the exam online. And so you will have the option of either taking it in class, which is how it's designed, but then a secondary option, a backup option, is beginning on Wednesday, May 2nd, 3rd, May 4th. You can take it online until the end of the course. The project presentations are the same way. The presentations are in class. You submit your project online through Canvas. By the way, all these are submitted through Canvas, and I'll show them in Excel in Canvas here in just a second. And then the project presentations are in class. But again, if you can't be there, then you have the option of creating a video and presenting it to me. Now, the reason I want them in class is that all the other students can see what you're doing. And that's extremely valuable for you to give a presentation to a class audience, but also the audience can hear and your colleagues can hear what you learned. Okay, now one thing that's extremely important is the end of the course is Saturday. I'll emphasize this over and over again. May 14th, nothing is considered after the end of the course. Everything has to be done by May 14th. May 15th, then I begin grading and I post grades. I don't consider anything before then. After the end of the course grade will be reported to the registrar, not posted on Canvas. All the grades on all of these will be posted on Canvas right afterward, even the exam, even the project. But your course grade, the grade in the course, which is down here, A, B, C, D, F, will be reported to the registrar. That will not be on Canvas. You have to calculate it. Okay. The required textbook up here in front is Heiser and Render. I'll talk about that more down below. Now the grading. Now your grading is based solely on grade measure performance. In other words, whatever you do, it's all objective. Whatever you earn on those measures divided by the total possible points, that percentage over here relates to a letter grade. And so your grade measures are 8 quiz assignments at 10 points, 4 homeworks at 20 points, 4 memo assignments at 20 points, 1 exam at 30 points, 1 project at 30 points. So whatever you earn on those assignments, those measures, divided by the total possible, that percentage over here is related to a letter grade. Notice there's no plus minus grades, and there's no negotiation. It's just very objective, very objective. Okay, a summary. Again, the quiz assignments will emphasize mechanics. Homework assignments will emphasize application of problem-solving techniques. The memo assignments will emphasize communicating results in a business environment. The exam is designed for evaluation. What I mean by that is I will ask you just evaluate what you know. I don't try to challenge what you don't know. I want to ask you what you do know. Okay, and then the project is designed to conduct independent research on a topic related to the course. Video resources are available online through Canvas, and as you will see into the course, in the syllabus, I also have the Canvas will link to YouTube, and that YouTube has links from my website, and I'll describe that during the course. Synchronous in-person office hours are Tuesday, 5 to 6 through the semester. My office is 4205. Synchronous virtual office hours are through Zoom, Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. And the link will be provided in Canvas. When I open up the link, I'll only wait for 15 minutes for students to join. If they don't join, then I close it out at 11:15. But if students join, then I'll talk. There's where the hours come in. The office hour doesn't mean I sit there for hours. I will talk with you for hours. I will wait 15 minutes. If no one shows up, then I'll stop. Asynchronous communication through Q&A, question and answer links in Canvas, and I'll talk about those when I go to when I go to Canvas. Okay. Now, before we get into the policies and procedures, let me go to Canvas. Let me pull up Canvas. Okay, you've already done the welcome video, and you have the syllabus Word file and the syllabus video. That's what we're doing right now. Now, if you notice, I have these modules, like the introduction on the first week. I have just introduction to the concepts and definitions, and I have a Q&A. I'll have a Q&A, question and answer, on every single module. And when you go to Q&A, notice what that is that you can just ask questions, give answers, answer other people's questions. You can post things. You can post Excel spreadsheets. You can post your answers. In other words, you can share information. This is asynchronous communication. Periodically, I will respond to these. I will join the Q&A, read them, and if people are saying things wrong, then I'll join. Every week I'll be looking at this throughout the week to see if I need to respond appropriately. Otherwise, you're going to just respond. Because quite often a student will have a question, another student will have the answer. So work together, work together. And I do that on every single one of these. Like forecasting, for example, I have a lecture, which is a Word file. Then I have the lecture, which is a video file. And the video file is on the lecture. Okay? And this is the Word file I will use in class, in person. But then the lecture is also a lecture. So you'll have an in-person lecture and an online lecture. And it's the same lecture. I say things differently. In class is a little bit different than online. Online, I just stick to the script. And in person, I'll tell stories and anecdotes and my experiences. So in person is a little bit more conversational than online. But then I'll have Excel. I could have Excel spreadsheets here to help with the lecture. And then I have a presentation video of forecasting. Now this presentation, this lecture video is a lecture. The presentation video, notice this will link to my website. Classroom. I'm Dr. Harper. And this is more of a presentation. So I have different kind of videos. I'm going to have a lecture video, a presentation video, and down here I'm going to have homework videos that describe how to work the homework. Again, the numbers will be different, but the process is the same. And here's the quiz, and here's the homework. And a quiz video, sometimes I'll have a separate video for the quiz to say, here's how you work these quiz problems. But I will usually have homework videos for the homework where you actually apply it to a business scenario. And then I'll have a memo and a memo video. So I have videos describing the quizzes, describing the homework, describing the memos, usually. Every once in a while I won't because I feel like the lecture is good enough. But if I feel there's more information I could give, I'll create a video. Again, the Q&A. And down here is where you submit the quiz, homework, and memo, only when you have all the answers. Don't start submitting until you have the answers, because once you do this, and I'll just describe it in the syllabus below. I want to go back to syllabus. You click it, you have 60 minutes, but you have to have it by the deadline. Okay, and then down here I post the answers. Blue, it's not black is not active. Blue is active, because these then will be active. You can submit them once they're open. Okay, so there's a syllabus, and I do pretty much the same format on each one of these modules. And the exam and project down here, I'm going to have a study guide with a video, instructions with a video, and here's where you take the exam if you don't take it in class. Here's where you submit the project, and then you have Q&A. Okay, so there's Canvas for how I've designed the connections. Okay, now let's go to the policies and procedures in more detail. First, this is the course description, which is in the catalog. Overview. This is my course overview of the on-campus course design. The course design will have multiple resources, as I have already mentioned, but utilize them at the student's discretion based on your learning styles. I will allude to this over and over again. You say, am I supposed to read this? Am I supposed to look at this? It's up to you. Learn how to learn. And it's up to you to use all these resources back and forth, because every person will learn differently and every person uses these resources differently. So it's up to you to learn them. Okay, course design includes deliverables in the form of quizzes, homework, memos, exam, and project. Each type of deliverable will have specific learning objectives, which I've already mentioned. Okay, lectures will be in person and online, as I've mentioned, not simultaneously, but equivalent. Okay, the video lectures will include presentation of material and application of material. Advantage of in-person lectures include conversation accompanying delivery of material. That conversation could be stories you have, stories I have, examples you have, examples I have. It's a conversation. Okay. Lectures delivered in person will have the objectives of presentation application. Each student is required to submit deliverables when due, and notice, no late assignments are accepted. Make sure you submit them before. I won't accept them late. Deliverables are designed for learning, but the exam is designed for evaluation. Exam may be taken in person or online. What I mean by a design for evaluation is I'll only ask you what you know. I don't ask you what you don't know, and I'll even tell you the kinds of questions I'll be asking. So you come to the exam prepared to answer those questions. Okay, projects are designed for each student to conduct research, independent research, on a topic related to the course. Project deliverables are an individual composed report on the details of the research findings, and an individual presentation on a summary of the research findings. So the report is the details. The presentation is just a summary because it's less than 2 minutes. No work is accepted or considered after the end of the course. Okay. So the course material. Again, the text is required, but it's up to you how to use it. Canvas is required because there's where you download all the assignments. There's where you upload all the assignments. And I have links to all the resources. Although there are no prerequisites for the course, knowledge of mathematics, statistics, and Excel will be useful. Although not necessary, I'm saying they will be useful. And the reason I say this is that I will not go into statistics in this course. I will not go into mathematics or Excel. But I will help you if you need help on an individual basis. Like, how do I do this? Well, here's how you do it. But it's not really part of the course. I will cover Excel, and I'll cover the statistics, I'll cover the mathematics as it applies to operations. But I won't cover those three as a discipline unto themselves. Again, the reading material is for you to use at your discretion. For example, forecasting is chapter 4, pages 105. FF is Latin. FF and following until it's no longer useful. But you pick and choose what you want. In other words, you don't have to read all that. It's up to you what to read. Now, linear programming is really between those pages. Transportation models between those pages, that type of thing. These course objectives are my objectives for this course. It will survey, first it's a survey course of concepts, methods, that's the detailed methodologies, and strategies commonly used in operations. There are 3 approaches. 1, recognition of problems. 2, application techniques. That's the quizzes and working the problems. And communication of results. That's the memos. So recognition of the problem is extremely important in business to know what the problem is. Don't solve the wrong problem. Understand what the problem really is. Don't try to solve the symptoms, solve the problem. The symptoms will take care of themselves. Apply the techniques correctly, appropriately, and understand how to do it, and understand what you have and what you don't have with these techniques. And communication of results is understanding what they mean. Okay, and then the approach will be a progressive objectives of basic understanding of the underlying concepts. A proficiency in the application of the tools, that's the methods and application techniques. An ability to formulate, evaluate, critique operational strategies, and that will be in the homework and the memos. And finally, experience in communicating the results in a business environment. So you see how I have that progressional objectives. Okay, course design, a little bit more detail. I've already said this before, I say it again. We have online resources, reading material, quiz assignments, homework assignments, memo assignments, exam, project, your course grade. I've already said this before, I say it again in the design. Okay, in calculating course grades, normal rounding conventions are used. Actually, these rounding conventions are used not only on the course grades, but also on all the quiz assignments, homework assignments, memo, everything we do in here. Follow the common rounding conventions. 0.5 is rounded up, 0.4 less than 0.5 is rounded down. basically that's it. The quiz, homework assignments, and memo assignments will be available on Canvas. Will be submitted through Canvas. There will be an exam. There will be a project at the end of the course, and which is an individual report, and learning resources are available. Okay, and then the quiz assignments, homework assignments, memo assignments are designed with different objectives. And I go over, I've said this before, I go over it again. No late assignments accepted. Okay. Communication. Communication is important. First of all, collaboration is encouraged. Collaboration, I mean communication, collaboration. You work with each other, you help each other. Throughout the course, except for the exam, do it yourself. Composition of the memo assignments, do that yourself. Composition. You can learn and share information, but you compose your memos yourself, and the final composition of the projects. However, each student is responsible to submit work based on their understanding and ability. Don't submit what someone else says. You collaborate to understand, and you submit your work based on your understanding. Okay. Communication between students about the material or the course will be through Q&A, question and answer, link in Canvas. And I've mentioned this before. I want to emphasize this. Question and answer, you can post questions, you can say answer questions, post Excel, post whatever you want to help with learning, and the whole course, the whole class in the course can benefit from that. I will visit that from time to time to respond appropriately. Okay. Beyond the Q&A, synchronous in-person office hours, in person, will be in my office 5 to 6 on Tuesday. Synchronous virtual office hours through Zoom on Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. And the link will be provided in Canvas. As a matter of fact, let's bring Canvas back up. And you'll see down here at the bottom, there's a link, the Zoom link in Canvas. Okay, and here's making a video if you need to use that for your project. Okay, email or Canvas messaging are less efficient, less reliable modes of communication. And I was going to say, in the past, there have been a lot of problem with email. There's more than one Michael Harper, and they'll try to email me, and it goes to a different Michael Harper. And so I never get the email sometimes. Sometimes it gets embedded in 40 or 50 emails, and I miss it. I think and sometimes it goes to spam. And so they're less efficient. The most efficient is Q&A, because that will get to me, and office hours. Show up in person, show up online. We're me and you. That's the best way to communicate. Take care to use these modes only when necessary. Communication concerning the course material should be through the Q&A, question and answer, discussion link in Canvas. I want to emphasize that again. Should email be necessary for personal communication, use this email address. You can click it and include BUSN 6630 so I'll know what course you're in. Because it's happened more than once. People will not tell me what course they're in. They'll ask a question. I'll answer that question as if they were in a different course, because I don't know what course you're in. I have to go back up and go and look at my over hundreds of students, say, well, what course are you in? So tell me what course you're in. Then I have a perspective on the question from the source that you're asking it. Okay, submission of quiz assignments and homework assignments. The submission, submit answers to assignments through Canvas. The quiz questions and homework questions will be posted on Canvas. Carefully follow this procedure. I'm going to go through this slowly. This is important. Download the questions from Canvas, which will be in a Word file. Obtain the answers for all the questions. You have all the questions, get all your answers. Only when all the answers are ready to submit all the answers through Canvas at one time. Each student is responsible to submit answers through Canvas correctly, completely and on time. Answers may only be submitted once. Answers submitted will be accepted as an entire assignment and graded as an entire assignment. Once you begin submission, you have only 60 minutes to submit all the answers to an assignment, only if all the answers are submitted on or before the due date and time for the assignment. So let me explain. Well, let me just go ahead. The due date and time are strictly enforced by Canvas. Canvas will not allow submission after the due date and time, even during the 60-minute time window. The entire assignment must be submitted on or before the due date and time indicated. No late assignments are accepted. Now, what this is saying is this. Let me explain it. First of all, you download the quiz or the homework. You get all the questions. You get all your answers. Only when you have all the answers ready submitted, then you open the submission link. You only have 60 minutes to submit all the answers. You can only do that one time. You can go back. You do that one time, and then you submit. And you have 60 minutes. If you leave it open past 60 minutes, it'll submit for you, and you can go back. But it is due, if you back up to the syllabus up here, notice it is due on Sunday, 11:59 p.m. on these dates. Whoops, on these dates right here. So let's come back down. So 60-minute window. So if you open it like 11:58, 1 minute later, then it will submit it for you whether you want to or not. And you can go back. So be very careful to submit these things early. Okay, and the no late assignments are accepted. Assignments not submitted have a grade of 0. The answers to the quiz and homework assignments will be posted online after the due date, and there's no partial credit. Okay, follow the common rounding conventions. Any graded errors. Sometimes I have errors. Sometimes Canvas doesn't do it right, or I put the wrong thing in it because there's a lot of numbers going on around. There's a lot of numbers floating around. If there's a mistake, bring it up. I'll resolve it. Do it as soon as possible. Okay, and collaboration is encouraged to aid in learning the material, but not required. Although collaboration is encouraged, students are expected to perform their own work, so use collaboration to learn. Okay, the memo assignments. The memo assignments are small case studies. I will make available an assignment memo online at appropriate times that will initiate work from a student. Each assignment memo requires 2 submissions, a response memo and a technical memo, and each memo is limited to 1 page. Submit both memos in 1 PDF. Now, before I get into the details, let me just describe this. I have a memo assignment on Canvas. You download it. It's a 1-page memo. And it says, oh, this client says this, would like to know this, here's some data. Could you respond to this client? So I will help you. It's a group project. It's a small case study. It's a group project where we're all working together. I'll work the problem and say, oh, here's how you work the problem. Here's some things we could say. Here's what I think. What do you think? And so everyone can collaborate. But then each individual student, your job, each student has to respond to the client in a response memo. Here's what this client needs to know. That's the response memo. You write a 1-page response. Each student writes their response. Don't copy from anyone else. It's your words, no one else's. And then the technical memo is your words, no one else's. It's original. It's an internal document, and here's how I solve the problem. Here's how we solve the problem. To document the actual solution. That's the technical memo. That's an internal document. The response memo is an external document. Okay, they're separate. And so each of these memos are 1 page long. So the response memo is designed for business environment for the client. The technical memo is designed for an internal document to outline, down here, outline the approach and quantitative methods. Okay, you don't have to work the problem. You say, here's how I work the problem. And so the discipline of the response memo is tell the client what they need to know. Don't tell them what they don't need to know. They do not need to know how you work the problem. They need to know what the answers are and what it means to them and the decisions they need to make. Okay. The tactical memo is the quantitative methods. You don't have to work the problem there, but you say, here's how I work the problem. To make sure you keep these separate. And I will be grading on the response memo is a response memo. The technical memo is a technical memo. Now I go into describing what each of these mean, and the composition also down here should reflect the different audiences, objectives, and your personality. Okay, submission. The response memo must be no more than 1 page in length. The tactical memo must be no more than 1 page in length. If it's more than 1 page, I grade off. I'll start counting off. Both memos must be submitted together in one PDF file. So one PDF file has 2 pages. Submit only 2 pages, no title, no attachments, no appendices, and submit through Canvas. Both memos are required to be composed in a professional manner, typed, dated, etc., adhering to the following common formats, including the title and the header information where the student provides information. Now, I will count off if it's more than 1 page. I'll also count off if you don't have response memo and you say, like response memo 1, 2, 3, however many we do. And this is the title, response memo, technical memo. If you don't have response memo as the title, if you don't have a technical memo as the title, I count off, because the response memo says this is the type of memo this is. And over here, and the content then should be according to that response memo. The reason the title is so important is I will grade this content relative to what that title is. I'll grade this content relative to what that title is. That's why it's so important. And over here, this is the header information. I'll be looking for the header information to, is it the correct date? Is it to the party, your name, appropriate title, and down here, your name to me, and also appropriate title. So I'll be counting off for the title, counting off for 1 page. I'll be counting off for the header information. Now the content is, do you say anything wrong? I don't really grade too much off on the format. I want you to define your own format on how you present this stuff. It must be professional, typed, dated. Some people use graphs. Some people use tables. Some people use bullets. Some people use just text. People do all different things. But I'll make sure what I'm grading is, did you answer the question appropriately? Likewise for the technical memo. Okay, composition, plagiarism, and academic dishonesty. I will be grading the memo format, as I said, and content that contains technical accuracy, answers the client request adequately, and responds appropriately within the scenario presented. However, each student's judgment of content and composition should reflect their knowledge, personality, communication style, but each memo must be original and should exhibit professional quality and value. So you have a number of these. Hopefully people will keep getting better and better. Okay, this is communication, because communication is important in business. Collaboration is encouraged to aid in the learning, but not required. Most importantly, collaboration should be limited to the calculation, analysis, and understanding of the content of the memo assignment, but not the creation or composition of the response memo or the technical memo. Each student is required to do their own writing, composition, production, and submit originally composed work. Essentially, the same response memo or technical memo submitted by 2 or more students will receive a grade of 0. and will be considered a violation of academic dishonesty standards. Academic dishonesty is cheating. The incident may also be reported to the Internal Affairs Committee of the Business School or UCD to the campus. Do not assist another student by allowing them to see a copy of your written work. Academic dishonesty includes copying from another student or allowing a student to copy from your work in part or in whole. Do not do that, because it does happen. I'll say when I see the same words and same format and everything, if it's the same, you get a 0 and it may be reported, and you go on record for academic dishonesty. The purpose of the memo assignments are to test your understanding of the techniques, your ability to correctly apply the methods presented in the business context, and to communicate these concepts in a business environment. Now, the exams, as I mentioned, will be designed for evaluation. I'll give exam study guide, more of this toward the end of the course. For this semester, exams may be taken either in class or online. But what I mean by that is it's designed for in class. If you don't take it in class, you can take it online up until the end of the course. Exams may be taken only once. If the in-class exam is taken, the online exam is not considered. It'll be open, but don't take it. I want to look at it. Only the in-class will be graded. Okay. Okay, the projects. Each project is required to conduct independent research on a research topic based on material related to the course. The deliverables from each student are an individual report and an individual presentation. Each student must have a different project. The project grade for each student will be 10% on the presentation and 90% on the individual project. Detailed project instructions will be provided during the course. I'll describe much more detail later. The originally composed individual report shall demonstrate a student's knowledge of the research and to effectively communicate the knowledge to a business professional. So this is not necessarily in a business environment. It's to a business professional, like a colleague. So this is really reporting to your colleagues what you've learned. Okay, and this is what you do with white paper report in industry. Essentially, that's what that is. Okay, submit. Okay. Each individual report must be unique. The length of the report should be more than 2 pages, but follow the guideline of succinct but adequate. Now, usually it's around 3 pages, 2, 3 pages, 4 pages, but I don't want 20 pages because the length must be enough to adequately present your work. Length can be considered a negative if too long and content is not significant. Again, I go back to my favorite phrase, my business phrase, succinct but adequate. You only say what needs to be said. You don't elaborate on things that do not need to be said. Okay, submit the completed individual report only through Canvas as a PDF file on or before the due date and time. Each report may only be submitted once, may only be submitted as a complete report, must be submitted by the due date and time. The reason I say this is often people will submit it says, I think I can do it better. I think I can do it better. Well, you just do it right the first time. And so you can have multiple submissions and then pick the right submissions. You can only submit it one time. A report not submitted has a grade of 0. No late reports are accepted. Each student is required to submit original material for their individual report. Now, sometimes people will reference people. Fine, you can reference them, but don't copy them as your words. So you may have a bibliography. Although collaboration is encouraged to conduct research, collaboration does not include copying from another student or allowing a student to copy from you. So submit your report through Canvas as a PDF file. Do not use a cover page, but use the title below on the first page where the student supplies the information. Again, don't use a cover page. You have your title, 1 line, and you state those 2 lines, and then you put your name here, the date, and then start. See, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines, and then you start the content of your report. So just make it succinct. Okay. The project presentations will be a summary of each student's research. Each student will be limited to approximately 2 minutes of presentation time in class. For each individual presentation, do not read your report or cover detail in your report, but present a general overview of significant findings from your report. Now, the reason I say this is some people get up there and just read their report. Don't do that. This is a presentation. It's not a reading. Okay, and it's only in the report is the details. The presentation is a summary. The individual report contains detail, but the presentation really contains significant findings or a summary. Communicate content appropriate to the objectives expected within the mode of communication, mode being a report or a presentation. Again, detailed instructions will be provided during the course. Okay, finally, assignments here. I repeat this at the end. Our quiz assignments, homework assignments, memo assignments, a project, and all the assignments will be downloaded through Canvas and uploaded through Canvas. Each assignment not received when due has a grade of 0. Late assignments are not accepted. Grades will be posted online during the course. Final course grades are submitted through registrar, not on Canvas. No correction to the grade will be considered after the end of the course. Again, nothing will be considered after the end of the course. Academic dishonesty is in the event it happens, you'll receive a 0, and I may report it to the business school and to the campus. Conduct. This is important. This is the code of conduct, this link, because the code of conduct is for all faculty, for all students, guests, staff, anybody. So be aware of conduct, and it's expected of everyone on campus, and on campus physically and on campus virtually. University information procedures and policies are also important that govern the university environment can be obtained through human resources. And this link has a lot of links on human resource requirements. FERPA. FERPA is important, Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, and it will be followed. In other words, I'm not going to be, for example, part of FERPA is releasing grades or releasing information. I will not release information only to those who are allowed to have that information. And so someone calls up, I don't release that information, only to those who are allowed to have it. Any current or potential indications of violations of verbal or physical disruptions or intimidations. So this is a care team. Now the care team is an assessment team on any type of potential violence, disruption, intimidation, anything. This care team will investigate and evaluate. And so be alert. And this is for everybody, for students, staff, faculty, guests, anyone. If there's a problem, report it to the care team. Any incident of violent or disruptive behavior can be reported to the Internal Affairs Committee of the Business School and UCD. Conduct also includes, as far as I'm concerned, etiquette that is respectful to all the people, facilities, and the institution in person and virtually. Commitment expectations. Taking this course represents your commitment to perform the work when due, and faculty policies have stated that classes in the business school should require their students a workload in and out of class that enhances quality education and is consistent with the amount of academic credit granted for the course. In other words, this is a disclosure. This course requires work in class, out of class, due on a regular basis. There have been in the past, people have said, "Oh, I didn't know I had to work." Yes, you have to work. Incomplete grades, no incomplete grades are given. My final statement, this is on my syllabus, part of the syllabus. Policies in this syllabus apply to each student equally. In other words, I won't apply this differently to different students. They're all the same. I will consider special circumstances, however. But standards will not be compromised, and all work must be completed during the course. It's an important sentence. So even though the policies and procedures will be applied equally, I will recognize special circumstances that do not violate those policies and procedures and do not violate the standards and do not violate the work that needs to be done on time. For example, sometimes a good example of this is suppose Canvas goes down and you can't submit your work. Well, if you don't submit your work by the due date and time, you get a 0. No late assignments are accepted. So how can you submit it? Well, if you get it, like email it. If you email it to me and I get it by the due date and time, and it's date and time stamped, I'll accept it. However you get it to me. And email is probably the best way to do it. So somehow, if you can get it to me, then I'll accept it. And there's an example of a special circumstance. Okay, but I will not violate the standards of it. Has to be done on the due date and time. Okay, so that's what I mean by that. Any actions taken by me that might be taken as varying from these policies shall not be a cause to eliminate or alter any student's responsibility to adhere to all the requirements of the course or to prevent my action in enforcing the policies in the course to every student. What this means is that if I do this, like for one student or something, that doesn't mean it's the same thing for all students. That doesn't become policy. The policy will not change. Now, this is the end of my part of the syllabus. Faculty have been required to include the following information in the syllabus. So what I did, I include the actual wording that was provided to the faculty for your information. And a lot of this I've already said. Some of it's kind of new. Code of conduct, plagiarism, cheating, fabrication, falsification. They go into more detail. Disability access through the disciplinary resources. If there's some resources that you need, you really should use them. Okay, non-discrimination, sexual misconduct from Title IX. I totally support all that. There's a lot of rules and laws, and I support all of that. I'm not going to go through and read all of them, but they go into this. Pronouns and preferred names. I'm not aware of what every person's preferences are, but I will respect all of them. So let me know how you prefer. And sometimes I might make a mistake because I just don't know, out of ignorance. And I apologize beforehand. But let me know how you want to be referred to. As far as I'm concerned, you are here to learn. And I will do everything I can to have a supportive environment so that you can learn. The same thing goes with diversity and inclusion. Now, this statement here is from Brenda Allen, and these are her words. These are not my words. I understand what she's saying here and she's getting at. And again, in general, what I would say is that if you are here to learn, I'm here to teach. That is the most important thing. The most important thing to me is you're here to learn. I'm here to teach. That's my focus. Okay. There's also a counseling center, and this counseling center can be helpful. Again, if there are resources, use it. Here's the CARE team again. I put that on my syllabus. Land acknowledgement. This is interesting. They ask us to acknowledge that we reside in the homelands of indigenous people. And it is an important step in recognizing the history, original stewards of these lands. And so it's not just about the lands. Okay, and these are not my words again. This is the words of Gracie Redshirt from the director of the American Indian Student Services. Okay, these are not my words, but I understand what she's saying, and I support it. And basically, I would say that in the indigenous people, it's more than just the lands. It's about the culture. It's about the approach. It's about the respect. It's the respect of the culture that we have is not just one culture, it's multiple cultures, and it's based on the culture of the indigenous people. They have laid a foundation, and we built upon that from multiple cultures. And I say respect all cultures, and it starts with respecting the cultures of the indigenous people. That's how I would put it. And I understand what she's saying, and I totally support it. And it's just, again, I want to come back to respect. You're here to learn. I'm here to teach. I respect that more than anything. And I'm going to teach you as best I can. And finally, the important dates to remember. Make sure you do respond. You refer to this, consult this, because this will be important. Okay, so this is the end of this video on the syllabus video. I hope this helps. Between now and the next time I see you, which is during class, there's a lot of information here. Make sure you keep the syllabus handy, refer to it often, and you have the syllabus so you can go back and refer to it as well. So be safe. And the next time I see you, I want to urge everyone to take care.